Joining me now is our Power Panel Hour, O'Leary Ventures Chairman Kevin O'Leary, and former Utah Congressman, Fox News contributor, and author of The Puppeteers, The People Who Control America, Jason Chaffetz. Gentlemen, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. A lot to talk about. Kevin, let me kick things off with you. Get your reaction to Lydia's reporting there.
Well, you know, it's very hard to get in the narrative about the trial in New York without partisan politics entering in. But remember, Maria, I'm an investor, so what matters to me is policy. And so this is a really unusual time. We're only months away from a very critical decision. I would like to hear more from both candidates about policy, particularly domestic policy on energy, border security, foreign relations, interest rates, taxes. We don't get any of that anymore. All we're getting is porn star wars. Yeah. There's no information about what matters to me. And I don't want this to sound like, oh, you're a Trump supporter, you're complaining, or you're a Biden supporter, you're complaining. I'm an American in terms of investment. I want America to be something I can invest in, and I got to know more information. It's just porn, no policy, no policy, no policy. Yeah. And if I were a taxpayer in New York, which I'm not, I'd be pretty unhappy. Is this how you spend your time and money when half the boroughs are war zones? And so I think things are a little off kilter here. Yeah. Maybe I'm not the only person that feels this way, but this is a complete waste of time. If you want to try Trump for porn star wars, I'm okay with it. But let's do it after the election. The business of the country is at stake, and we're just porn. It's crazy. It's a waste of time.
It's a great sentiment, and it's a great point that you make. And also, if you want to try Trump, at least have a crime. Okay. Everybody I've spoken with cannot identify what the heck is the criminality here in this hush money trial. I want to get your take, because of everything you just said, I want to get your take on what Kevin Hassett said to me this week when I saw him at the Milken conference. He said, all these threats that Trump is going to go to jail and be in handcuffs because he violated a gag order will not be good for markets or the economy. Watch this.
If you look at the case in New York, that the judge is being so, undemocratic, unconstitutional in his rulings against President Trump, it really looks like there's a conspiracy to put him in jail, to put him behind bars. And if President Trump is in chains going to Rikers Island, then, would you want to buy a U.S. Treasury the next day? The thing that I'm really worried about short-term risks for the economy is that the Democrats are serious in this lawfare. And if they actually succeed, then imagine, it's like we become a banana republic the moment they take them to Rikers. And I just can't imagine what happens to Treasury markets that day.
Wow, big statement. What do you think?
100% agree with it. This started, in the real estate trial on Trump. It makes New York look different than the rest of the country. We should be thinking about the American brand, about the Treasury bill, about the fact that people like me bring foreign capital in to invest in a country where we have transparency, appellate law, where people feel safe investing their money over long periods of time. This takes away from that. New York, my children live there, and I want the best for the people of New York. But I wonder if they shouldn't consider new management that are more focused on the needs of the New York taxpayer. I don't care how many times Trump slept with porn star or porn star wars. I need to understand policy. What do you got for me on domestic policy and taxes? That's what matters to me. I don't care about this stuff anymore. It's a complete waste of time.
Yeah, but Jason, isn't that the whole point? They want to muddy up Trump's name. So bring in lots of stuff about some sexual encounter so that everybody can start thinking about that, and it muddies up his name, even if there's no crime.
No, I think that is exactly the point. To Kevin's, that's what I think most voters want to hear. But the Biden team, Bidenomics, never isn't working. What is Biden going to campaign on? The border's not secure. Immigration's out of control. And he has no plan for inflation. If you ask yourself, what is the Biden plan for inflation? You can't name it. Yeah. President Biden is inarticulate, can't answer a question. We got wars raging overseas. Meanwhile, under Trump, life was pretty good.
Yeah.
We didn't have all of these types of problems. So like a boxing match, they just want to wrap the guy up, put him in the corner, and start talking about things that are totally irrelevant to what really affects Americans.
But maybe that's the point, Jason. So if we're talking about Trump and this sexual encounter, we take the time and we don't have to talk about inflation up 19% on Biden's watch, a wide open border that is overwhelming our students and citizens, migrant crime across the city because of bad Democrat policies, a controversial New York City real estate lawyer who once had his law license suspended, sparking an investigation in New York over allegations he gave unsolicited advice to Judge Arthur Engron. And then there's this coming before he implemented the $455 million fine on President Trump in the civil fraud trial. State rules say a judge cannot, quote, initiate, permit, or consider communications about cases outside of the presence of all parties in the matter. So, Jason, what about this? Because on top of all of this stuff that the both of you guys are saying, you also have the idea that there could be corruption here.
It really does sound like it was a railroad, that they were just going after Trump to go after Trump. Remember, the prosecutor, he ran and campaigned on the idea that he was going to take down Trump. The New York Attorney General campaigned that she was just going to wrap Trump up. They were going after the person. They weren't following a crime. And to have these ex parte communications, that's not it. That's illegal. And so I think most people understand that on appeal, Trump probably wins on both of these. I think they've lost control of these cases. This is a document case that we're currently looking at, and there was no testimony so far about the documents.
Right. Well, a documents case, business records, but at least we heard from Stormy Daniels.